Okay. So look, first of all, thank you all for attending today. Very much looking forward to this meeting, which we believe will be the start of a series of meetings designed to support the refunding of the RRP and obviously the survival of our local restaurants. My name is Richard Cumming. I'm an advocate for the refunding of the RRP, and I'm co-founder of FoodStream. We're a social network reimagining how nourishing food moves through our communities in need. We have an hour set aside, starting off a little bit late. We're doing some very quick introductions now. I'll hand over to Pablo and Jackie just to introduce themselves, and then I'll go through the format.
Okay, I'm Pablo Guzman over here. Hi, everyone. I'm a senior project manager at the Business Development Center of Union Settlement. We provide advocacy and technical assistance to small businesses in our district.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Tessman. I'm the project manager for Buy Local East Harlem. Pablo and I are colleagues at Union Settlement's Business Development Center. This is very important to us because restaurants are the #1 business in East Harlem in our corridor. So we are looking forward to having a vibrant discussion, and hopefully this will end with refunding in the New York State budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, I think what led us to this town hall today was really to try and get some clarity around the RRP. I know we were tracking and working alongside a lot of EFPs and the government and the restaurants throughout the campaign, and saw the pain and the celebration as well. Despite the downs, I think we're very we all feel very positive about this this initiative, and we hope to sort of get some clarification of where we are today, and then what we need to do to move forward, to move this bill forward, to get refunded for 2022 and beyond. We have invited Assemblymember Jessica González-Rojas and Brian Romero to talk. So we're not sure if they've landed here just yet.
No, they're not on yet.
Okay. After that chat, we might sort of move things around. We wanted to invite, we're inviting a couple of mom and pop restaurateurs to give us a sort of bit of an overview and insight into their experience, their own personal experience with the RRP. I think it would be good. I think it will be reflective of many of you on this meeting today. And then we can do some Q&A. But Jackie, I wonder, like we were going, the reason why we wanted to bring the Assemblymember to the table today. Could you give an overview about what that purpose of that segment will be?
Sure. Well, as you may or may not know, there is no money in the budget right now, in the New York State budget, to refund this program. And in order to accomplish that, we need Assembly support and Senate support. The Assemblywoman Jessica González-Rojas is right now a champion for a bill in the Assembly, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't have anybody in the Senate that is going to support this bill, which is something that we need to reach out to our own senators about, which is the reason why, I don't know if you heard Lou before, we wanted to know whether or not the East Harlem Senator Cordell Clear was on, anybody from her office was on. So if we...
Sorry, Jackie, can I jump in on that real quick on that point? Does anybody here have a relationship with anybody in that office that we can try to get a definitive response from them? Because they haven't really... I know they say they want to help us, but somebody should be on this call. I mean, that's not a lot to ask, especially if they had notice, but
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think we can, I think there's a lot of people on this call. We must have some influence and weight with friends and people we know. Jackie, Jessica has joined.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Rich. Okay, so anyway, to be respectful of the Assemblywoman's time, we are going to limit questions to what she is involved with right now. So if she could speak to the status, just give us an overall update on what is happening with the budgetary timeline, you know, the whole overall status of refunding Restaurant Resiliency Fund, if there's any bill information that we should know about, if there is any other Senate partnerships that that we don't know about that we could, you know, reach out to, and just, you know, in general, how we can help advocate for this. I think the biggest question right now that we have is the budget. You know, what is the deadline for getting this in there? And I think we're all aware that we don't have Senate support. So what can we do in order to ensure that there is Senate support and that this is included in the New York State budget? And just so everybody knows, the questions that the Assemblywoman cannot answer right now is anything that has to do with the program, any program components, because as of now, there is no program. So the pressing issue right now is getting money in order to refund the restaurant resiliency. So I don't know, Assembly member, would you like to take the floor?
Thank you, Jackie. Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. And my name is Jessica González-Rojas. I use she, her pronouns. I represent the 34th Assembly District, which includes the neighborhoods of Jackson Heights, East Elmhurst, Corona, and Woodside. And just to give you a glimpse of my district and why this issue is so important to me, my district, within the bounds of my lines, I do not have a hospital. I do not have a library. I do not have a senior center. I do not have a community center. But guess what I have? The best restaurants in New York City and the best small businesses. And I'm telling you, you pick a country, I can bring you to its food. You want Tibetan food, you want Ecuadorian food, you want Colombian food, you want Nepalese food, you want Bangladeshi food. Give me a country and I will find its food in my neighborhood. So this issue is really important to me. It's actually very personal to me because I am not a good cook, but I love to eat. And most importantly, I actually just really love to support our small businesses because there's so many gems. Yes, Middle Eastern food. I mean, we got it all. We got it all. There's just so many gems of restaurants in my district and throughout the city. My district is changing by next year. If I'm, blessed to be reelected, I'll have Jackson Heights, East Elmhurst, Corona. I'm losing a lot of Woodside, but I'm gaining a lot of Astoria, which is another community of a plethora of amazing restaurants that I had been going to for years. So, y'all kept me and my family fed, right? I don't cook very much. I can walk down the street almost at any hour and get any delicious meal I want. So keeping the restaurants thriving is a really critical issue for me and for our community. And we know during the pandemic, when everything had to shut down, it was our restaurants, our restaurant workers, our street vendors that really kept the city alive. And the Restaurant Resiliency Program was so important in that, right? Big picture, it provided New York's regional food banks and with funding to source meals from qualified restaurants. And I believe there's folks here who have been the beneficiary of that program and has actually kept them afloat through the pandemic when they weren't able to sort of receive customers during the height of the pandemic. It's in partnership with New York City's food bank network of providers, such as food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters. And participating restaurants are encouraged to use New York ingredients where possible. So it also helps our farms and places across the state to really support our own local economy. So it's like a win-win-win, right? In so many areas, our vulnerable communities get fed, our restaurants get funded to do that work, and the farms and other producers of food get resourced to help provide the food to get to the communities, right? So I am such a big fan of this program. We heard it was cut from the governor's proposed budget. I led a letter in the Assembly Gosh, do I have this? I got a lot of signatories. I got a lot of folks that signed on. They really cared about it. I met with the chair of the Economic Development Committee, and he's confirmed and announced that we are putting $25 million for the Restaurant Resiliency Program in the Assembly One House budget. So that's a win, right? Everything's steps, right? So what happens now is that it's going to be, yay, let's celebrate. It's going to be in our One House budget, which means the governor put out her budget like a month ago. The Assembly worked really hard, and a lot of the members fought for things that they felt were either cut or should be amended from the governor's budget. We're putting together what we call our One House. So again, I said we must include this program. Let's include this program. We have to include this program. Let me see how many people we can get on board to include this program. And the program is going to be included in One House. The need, as was mentioned, is making sure that there's a champion in the Senate to get it in the Senate One House, because now the Assembly is going to have a One House budget, the Senate's going to have a One House budget, and then they all come to the negotiating table with the governor's team to create what becomes the eventual budget that we all have to vote on. So we do need a Senate champion. I think there's some people that we're thinking about. I have to just check with my team to see if anybody has emerged. I think someone said Senator Cordell Clear might be an option. I believe someone like Senator Ramos would be supportive, but I don't want to. I don't want to say who's yet it, because I just don't know. I'm not entirely sure yet. But again, we'd love to hear from you if there's certain champions that you'd like to see. But I'm really thrilled to lead this effort in the Assembly. It's honestly an honor. Again, the restaurants in my community have kept me and my family and my community fed, and the most vulnerable amongst us. You know, I volunteered at many of those food pantries. I saw those lines. I continue to see those lines, and knowing that we're getting hot meals from amazing restaurants in our community is really just amazing to see. And again, I think it's a win and an economic boom for my district, for our city, and for our state. So I'll stop there. And is there any questions or anyone else want to hear? Jackie?
Hi, yes, I'm sorry. First of all, Rich, what should we do about the questions? Should we raise hands or should we put them in the chat Raise hands? Okay. Yes. Thank you, Assemblymember. Yeah, can you just, because a lot of us are not clear on this, your budget timeline, and how we could support that?
So the budget timeline, we are pulling together our One House budget now. All the committees are presenting their priorities. So in the next week or so, we'll hear from all the committees. The Economic Development Committee spoke yesterday, and they confirmed that that's going to be part of the package. So we'll probably have the full One House out in the next week or so, maybe by the third week of March. And the Senate is likely on a similar timeline. And then we have to again come together with the governor's office. The full budget needs to be voted on by April 1st. So by April 1st, we have to make sure it's in. We're working with, work with the governor's team to make sure it's in there in her budget. There's advocacy you can and should be doing to encourage that. But I'll be fighting on the Assembly side to make sure it happens.
Okay, thank you very much. Very helpful.
Thank you, Jessica. Could I just expand on that? So you said that the Economic Development Committee has it in their priorities list?
Yes.
Is there a bill?
25 million. 25
million?
25, yes.
That's not going to do it. That's not enough.
I agree. It is what it was funded at last time, so it's sort of a flat funding. But yeah, that's where we are.
That's from the FEED Act money, FEMA money, or where is this money being derived from?
I don't know. I believe it's from our state tax dollars. This is New York State's proposal. So that's from our
I just was wondering if there was any of the FEED money left, anything to go after on that front.
Oh, I mean, there could be perhaps supplemental funds, but in terms of what we're putting forward, how we're using our tax dollars, it's the 25 million that's being proposed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question, Dr. Debbie Almentasser. I'm with Bridging Cultures Group, which is a consulting company that works on culturally mindful food. And I also represent the M&A American Merchants Association. And my question is there anyone on the Senate that is also sponsoring this bill that we should be talking to? And then if anything that you may need to help support you, maybe letters of recommendation from, organizations that are organizing. The M&A American Merchants Association, our merchants are both bodega owners, deli owners, and restaurant owners. And so we'd be happy to write a letter, in support and sponsoring this initiative.
Great. Actually, I see my chief of staff is on. Brian, do you know if has a Senate champion been identified?
So I actually was emailing with a bunch of, I can't honestly remember, it's a long thread. It's some of y'all about identifying one, and I had mentioned and recommended, and I still urge that be the immediate next step. Like, if you don't have a Senate champion, then if it ends up in the Assembly One House, fine, but you need someone pushing it in the Senate. So that needs to be your immediate next step. If the 25 is not enough, then that's something that should be negotiated and more should be pushed for, but you need to find a Senate champion. So whether it is Senator Cleary or Senator Hoylman or Senator Ramos, whomever you sort of determine it is, do that and ensure that they're having the conversations in the other chamber about this. If not, again, in the end, it's the three people in the room, and if only one of them are talking about it, that's not good math. So that needs to be your immediate next step.
Question. I just sent Moore's email. Did anybody send him the link? I just spoke to him, and he's waiting for the link to hop here.
Oh, great.
I just sent right on the chat. So I was getting some.
I saw that and I sent it. He should have it by now. It should be in his mailbox.
Speedy. Nice.
Well, you need to say I did it. I will say, give me a thumbs up. So I'm
Sorry.
reach out to Gibbs' office now. So Assemblymember Rojas, question.
Sure.
When I spoke to several Assembly members and several state senators, and I forgot who called me back, but they said that there was money in the budget for food. Let's just say food. Of that, the governor can put the budget through for us. But if that doesn't happen, that means that one of you guys have to put a piece of legislation before March 31st in order for it to help us. Or is there money in the budget for us, period, that is it?
No, so the governor's budget did not include this program. And again, as I mentioned, now it's the negotiation time. So I led the effort in the Assembly to make sure that our House supports this. So we rallied all these Assembly members to get behind this. We submitted a letter. And again, I mentioned at the top of this that we got the the Economic Development Committee chair to include it. Because all money, it's not just like, it's not like a big category of food. It goes into different committees.
I'm sorry, it's businesses. It's for business, small businesses.
Yeah. Because like I'm also advocating for like a healthy school meal program. And that's in education, like things get divided up in different committees. So the Restaurant Resiliency Program exists in the Economic Development Committee. And the chair has confirmed that he's going to fight for the 25 million. It's going to be in our budget. But again, our budget's not the one we vote on. We have to work back with the governor's office between the Senate and us and the governors to negotiate at this point. That's why if we have a Senate champion, that's what we need. So we can come in and be like, look, both houses want this. And then I think in addition to getting, as Brian said, the first step is getting that Senate champion, but then the next step is also calling the governor's office. And they need to hear from you, because I think hearing from the businesses that have benefited, I know Glory Bell is on this call, and we've talked a lot about how amazing this program has been for her business and her amazing restaurant, which I love. It's so important to hear that, right? That this is actually an economic driver for your business. It's keeping people employed, it's keeping the community fed, it's keeping your small business going. So I urge you to do that, because it is going to ultimately be the governor's decision as to what gets in the final bill. Again, and it's going to happen pretty quickly over the next 3 or 4 weeks, because April 1st is looming.
Okay, we have a bunch of questions and we have limited time with you, so I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but there are 5 people that have their hands raised. So Shauna McCormick, did you have a question?
Hi, everybody. Yes, I did. Hi, Assembly.
Hi.
I had a quick question with regards to you hearing back if this makes it into the one House bill for the Assembly. By the 3rd week of March, we would know whether or not it made it that far. And then at that point.
Oh, no, we got it. We definitely got it.
Oh, you did?
It's just the one House hasn't been printed yet. So that means so we're going through a process where every committee is presenting. So, education, the corrections committee, so yesterday, the Economic Development Committee, where this program would live, they presented and they said, we're putting $25 million for restaurant resiliency in our one House. So it's confirmed. It's just all the committees haven't gone yet. So we just have to hear from the rest of them in order to get the final package that we're putting together as our priority.
Okay, great. That's amazing. And then the 25 is for when does that funding period begin?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. I would have to get back to you, but it would be after April 1st, certainly. But I'd have to get back to you on an effective day. As Jackie mentioned, because it's not yet in existence, it just needs to be ironed out, like the details of it need to be ironed out.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
But hopefully soon, I want to get the money out to you all.
Okay, thank you. Pablo's next and then Giselle. I'm trying to remember who had their hands up first. Pablo?
Jackie, I'll help.
Yes, mine is quickly. Wanted to also add, well, by the way, Jessica, I love your enthusiasm. And I'm very happy you're championing this.
And
yes,
your work.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Lou, I know 25 million sounds a little bit, and they ran out very fast the first time.
I know.
If we get it funded, I would love to meet again and talk about a series of recommendations we have developed to make it last way, way longer than it happened. So don't be afraid of refunding 25 million. Mm-hmm. But also wanted to ask Jessica, you'd have been sitting down there. I was kind of surprised the fund was not automatically refunded. And I was wondering if the state is working on some alternative options, or the delay has something to do with the fact that this is not FEMA funded anymore. Could you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, so you're saying that they stopped, so everyone who applied for money and was approved got it, or you're still waiting on the funding?
No. I'm talking about funds to be received at state level to fund the program. It stopped in January because the money is running out. I think there's a little bit still left over there, but it is basically out. So I was wondering if $25 million were already devoted to assist small business. Well, I believe it was more than $25 million. That we have $25 million for the restaurant. How come that did not turn into an automatic approval of refunding of what we have now?
Yeah, so our budget, every year we have a new budget. So unless the program was earmarked for a number of years, then it has to be renewed every year. So our budget fiscal year is April 1st through March 31st of the following year. So that's why it's critical that we get our budget approved by April 1st, so it goes right into effect. So again, unless there was some part of the program was a multi-year commitment, then it won't be automatically renewed. We have to sort of fight every year, which is exhausting. And maybe that's something we could think about, trying to make sure we have multi-year commitments for certain programs. Like we have multi-year commitments for education, right? Because that's what we fought for and got. But some of these programs don't renew like that because of the fiscal year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Giselle and then Lou, although it says Maria on there. Giselle?
Thank you, Assemblymember Rojas. My question is, if there is some type of social media flyer or, some type of, that we can, as restaurants, because we use social media to advertise other things. So if we can help advocate, besides calling the senator's office and getting that poll, if there's some type of flyer that could be, passed around, definitely.
Hey, Giselle, I wanted to tell you, and I'm glad that you mentioned it because I was forgetting. In the chat, there is a link to a petition on change.org. I thought it's free to us. But they're asking for money. So don't donate any money to change.org, but do sign the petition and have everyone in your group sign the petition, please.
Yes, and I Giselle, that's a great point. I definitely encourage you all to do that. Again, as legislators, I'm such an activist legislator, so I would be like, yes, let's go and do this. But that's what you guys, you're organizing, you're advocating, and that's something you can and should do. So if you can connect as a group and create a flyer and say, help save this program, sign the petition, call your representative, call the governor's office, put their phone numbers, that's advocacy, and that's what you should be doing, because again, it's more impactful and we can move the needle if our legislators are hearing directly from you. I talk to my restaurants all the time. I know what they need. So I'm in there sitting in their tables. But again, not everyone is as connected to those small businesses like I am. So they need to hear from you. And I really, really encourage you to do that. So when I get off, please start organizing and pull together something and get it out there, Instagram, Twitter, all that, Facebook, and get people engaged to fight for this program and other funds, right, for small businesses and restaurants, because you guys deserve all the support you can get.
Thank you.
Assemblymember, we're trying to be respectful of your time. Do you have any time we have about 4 more questions?
I could probably do 2 more.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, so then Leo and Kathleen, I'm sorry, I'm really trying to get the order of hand raising. I hope I got that right. Leo?
Yep, yeah. So my question is, if we don't get somebody in the Senate to push this through the one Senate, what ends up happening? The one assembly goes in front of the governor, and then they just decide if they want to keep it or not, because it's only one budget, or what's the process?
Yeah, it's not a bill. So it will become a bill eventually, but the Assembly One House budget is going to be a document that we submit to the governor's office in order to say these are our priorities. And again, the Senate does a parallel process, and then it's negotiation between our leadership, right? Like the governor's team, our speaker, the Senate majority leader. So it's then this negotiation point. And then we get back a bill that will have everything in it. And we really want to make sure this is included, because it's hard to vote against a budget bill because everything's inside of it. So if you're like, oh man, I want to vote against it because it didn't include this one program I love, but it includes again, funding for public schools, it's going to be hard to vote against it. So we want to advocate to make sure it's in. So it's a document, and it'll be released again in the next week or so in order to use it to negotiate with the governor.
Okay, and one final question for the Assembly member, Kathleen. I think you've been waiting, and then everybody else, if you could put your questions in the chat after this, we'll try to contact the Assembly member's office for some answers, because she's given us a lot of her time today.
Thanks, Jackie. Hi, Assemblymember González-Rojas. Thanks for your time today. I put a message in the chat, and I've been working with a lot of the EFPs, restaurants, and City Harvest, who's also on the call to manage their portion of the grant. And we actually did send a letter to Senator Prasad with a sign-on letter with some of the participants on this call. I guess not necessarily a question, but just using you as a sounding board. If in my mind, in addition to doing this like grassroots advocacy of like, posting on social media, et cetera, there's a larger group that includes food bank participants and City Harvest participants that, in my mind, it's, would it make sense to expand that letter to many more people that are on this call, and to send it to a champion in the Senate outside of Senator Prasad, whether it's Cordell Clear, Senator Ramos's office. I haven't talked to them specifically, but if anyone on here has a contact, I think it'd be great to do that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's great. I think what's important to think about in terms of the advocacy side is that, a bill like this is part of an ecosystem. As I mentioned, it's connecting, restaurants with families in need through the food banks, the soup kitchens, the shelters, right? So hearing from those institutions, not just the restaurants, to say how important this program was to them and their community and the people they serve is just as vital as hearing from you to say how vital this has been to ensure your business continue to run. Again, working and partnering with these other institutions, it's a very community-driven effort. And again, I think it's just such a win-win. I feel pretty good about it. I take nothing for granted. We have to fight until it's voted on. So I think that's a great idea to look at the full ecosystem of beneficiaries of the program and to engage them in the advocacy, because the partnerships just make you all stronger.
Sure. No, that's a great suggestion, and thank you for that. Some of the people that were signing on to the letter from the EFP side, it did include some testimonies of the program, and I think probably thinking through what better way to coalesce all of those testimonies, signatures, et cetera, and directing it is what I'm thinking through right now. So
yeah,
thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And finally, this was a very good question. Is there a bill associated with this? And if so, is there a number that you can, a bill number that you can provide to us?
There is not a bill. It's a program through the budget. So that's why the fight is in the budget. I mean, even if we had a bill, we would still have to fight for the money in the budget, because that's what gets actualized for the fiscal year that's ahead. So right now it's just a budget fight. But a bill is a good idea to make this like a permanent program. So maybe more to come.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, Assemblymember. I think we have somebody from Senator Clear's office on. Do we, Lou, or?
So I got an email from Chris Labarge, the executive. Well, if they could make themselves known, I don't know if they got on. I hope so. They were saying that they couldn't get on for a link problem. They couldn't, something wrong with the link we sent them. But
again, I just wanted to thank you all for your work and your service. And again, let's keep fighting together so we can get this done.
Thank you.
Thanks again. We'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Let me read you the email that Chris Labarge sent me. He's the Albany rep, the Albany office for Cordell Clear. Thank you, but the senator and I attempted to access the meeting via the link, but could not get in. Not exactly sure what happened, but I can tell you that Senator Clear has been talking to Senate and Assembly colleagues all week long about making sure the program gets funded. So that should translate into a bill, right? And a budget proposal, I think. Let's hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say it would be great to get maybe clarification, like for them, like what would it look like?
As soon as this wraps up, I'm going to send the notes and request something in writing, something definitive.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Go ahead, Yvette.
Okay, so you know that I was a staff for Assemblymember Power, and how this works is that you need both houses. You need the introduction to a piece of legislation by one of the houses. It don't matter who. But the thing is that they need a sponsor from other house. So right now, Rojas Assembly is introducing it. Now we need to go and get the Senate to introduce it. But that's not enough. Because what happens here is that they give them a piece of paper with the legislation, and then they go to their counterparts or their colleagues and they say, will you sponsor this bill? So it's up to Rojas and Cleary's office to get all state senators and other state assembly members to sign off on it. That's how that works. So not only we're going to have to do some of that work too and put pressure on the other state senators and the assembly members because they don't have the staff to go and have other colleagues sign off on the bill. Does that make sense? That's how that works. It's a piece of paper with my name on it. If I was the assembly member saying, this is what I'm proposing, by the way, let's hypothetically say yes. So I get another one that says Senate, and that Cleary says yes. And then on her piece of paper, it's gonna have all of the senators, and they're gonna sign off and saying that they approve the bill. And the same thing on the assembly side. So we need to reach out to other state assembly members as soon as they put it in and get the bill number for us to say, hey, listen, support this bill number. But for right now, we got to push the governor because there is no bill.
Yvette, can I just add something? The assembly member said that we would need a bill for long term. If this was to be a program that would be repeated annually, but she said for now they're trying to put this in what is called the one house budget. So I think what we need to do now is get Senate. Okay, the Senate has their one house budget now also. So we need to speak with, Senator Clary's office. And I saw somebody in the chat said maybe Senator Ramos would be interested in sponsoring this. Sponsoring this, so that's what we need to be doing next.
I reached out to Senator Rivera's office. He's somebody that's always very approachable. So I'm looking at people that I worked with when I was in Adam's office in order to sign on or to champion what we're doing. And it's just pushing them. It's sad. I want to cry, but it's sad. It is what it is.
Yeah, well, I'm just surprised that with so much. Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Sorry, I'm just surprised that with so much quote unquote support, that we're having so much trouble getting people to commit. And I'm not just a little upset or disheartened. I'm a little angry. I'm not going to lie, but I'm trying to stay cool because I understand this is a process. But, I think that we have to take names of anybody that doesn't show us real love. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but this is this process that we're in. We're fighting over money. We're fighting for attention, and the restaurants are fighting for their survival. So all I can say is that I urge anyone who wants to sign a letter. I heard Dr. Debbie Almonser mention that she wanted to put a broader letter together. I think that's a good idea. And I think that we really got to push. So if you have any contacts at all for any reason in the last, whenever, in the history of your life, let's apply a little contact and let them know. Let's find out who's really going to support us and who's just talking. That's how I feel about it.
I think right now we need to try to get a lot of Senate support. From the guest list, it looks like there's a lot of different regions on here. So if everybody could reach out to their state senator, it would be very, very helpful.
Got to make a little noise, people. Really got to call, send emails. I know it takes time, but it's important at this point. And it's really do or die right now.
Okay.
Westchester County, and I reached out to Senator Shelley Mayer, so I haven't heard back yet, but I sent hopefully a rather powerful email just letting her know how important it was to my business, to the staff that I employ, and to my family. I work with my father. He's been in the bar restaurant business his whole life, just like my grandfather before him. and he had lost his previous establishment in New York City because of the pandemic. He had a college bar restaurant. It shut down. He knew it was never going to come back. So he had to pivot and do something different. We opened up a restaurant together in Westchester, but it's been challenging. Food prices are going up. A lot of people out of work, times are tough, and to go to a restaurant is considered, a privilege. And I think a lot of people are giving second thought about where they're going to spend their money, which is totally understandable, but it leaves small business owners in a really challenging position. We want to work, and right now it's so hard to do that.
Rich, I don't know. I guess you want to put together next steps. We could all work on it, or
yeah, I think so. So there is a WhatsApp chat group for the RRP restaurants that from round one. I think there's about 60 restaurants on there already. I've put a link in the chat. Join that group because it's power in numbers, and we need to somehow get us all organized and not sort of duplicating work potentially. So I think that might be one good way to keep the channel clear. And then I think beyond that, we need to regroup Pablo, Jackie, and follow up with some next steps. Beyond that, Pablo, any thoughts?
No, I'm very happy. I'm really very happy to see the enthusiasm by Honorable Jessica. I think she's gonna go there and champion this thing, and I would love to see that enthusiasm transfer down to all the restaurants. I hope you guys believe that this is a good program that will benefit all of you, the vast majority of you. We just need the push to have it refunded. And if you are a restaurant and you did not get benefit on the first round, we have a plan to ensure that it's going to reach down this, that it's going to cut down the red tape, and it's going to improve the chances of you finishing the line. This is something we're gonna start pushing for right after the program is refunded. At this moment, as Jackie said before, there is no refunding. There is no need to worry about that. But the pandemic is ending, but it's gonna take about 3-4 months for the economy to kick back. And so you guys need that. The restaurants need this program on to be able to survive these 3 months. It's very, very important to push for that now.
I have a suggestion. Anna Kaplan, Senator Anna Kaplan, she's the chair of the Commerce Economic Development Committee. Maybe we could reach out to her. I could actually even drive over to her office next week. I have no problem doing it. I live in Queens, but she's, further out east. So I can do that. I have no problem. But maybe we could circulate her legislative office number and people could call the number for a start. How does that sound?
We
everybody?
sent her an email inviting her to this, and we sent her the letter as well, just so you know.
Okay.
But yes.
All right. Yeah, because just listening to what the Assemblywoman was saying, it sounds like this needs to, well, it does. It needs to come out of the committee, the Economic Development Committee, and she's the head of it. So I think that should be somebody that we're focusing on right now. So Rich, what if I do this? I could just I could get her legislative office information, her phone number, her email. I could give it to you, and then you could just send it to the group, and then phone calls.
Yeah.
Asking, just requesting. I could put on a piece of paper what exactly we are requesting, and I could try to go out there next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And from our end, Jessica Ramos is a big sort of advocate of FoodStream as well. So I'll be following up with her straight after this too. Dr. Debbie Almastar, your hands up.
Yes, I did have my hand up. Thank you. I just wanted to emphasize how important it is for us to finalize who is going to be the champion on the Senate side. If we all can leave this call by, identifying at least 1 or 2 or 3 people that we can approach to become the champions for it, then when we call all the other senators and they know that there is somebody who's already taking this on, they feel a whole lot more comfortable supporting it. So I know that that the Assemblywoman had made recommendations. Has there been any outreach to the people that she recommended? Usually it's always good to go with senators that the Assembly person has relationships with to be able to carry it through the finish line.
Well, we are trying very hard. I don't know if you heard what Lou said. We're trying to get our East Harlem, well, we work in East Harlem, our East Harlem State Senator Cordell Clear to come on board with this. So I'm not sure who the other Assembly people, who the other senators were, I think, but I did see in the chat something about Senator Ramos.
So if I could jump in here, Jackie, definitely, excuse me, Kaplan is on the economic development. So that's definitely somebody we should let know. And again, the number of people that hit their office, either an email, phone, or live conversation helps. So everyone should call their local guy, and then everyone should also send Clear, Serrano, and Kaplan an email, a call. And I think, like I said, Dr. Debbie, a broader letter would be a good idea where we all sign. I think the governor needs to get a letter from us with, several hundred signatures, that kind of thing. So just to get to your point, yes, that's a great idea.
Okay. And Morellis just mentioned Jessica Ramos. Yes, if you could reach out to Senator Ramos, it sounds like if it's about, I think that's who the Assemblywoman also said, Senator Ramos. So if somebody could reach out to Senator Ramos, I could also reach out to Senator. I could drive there. That's fine. I can just I'll do it.
She's in Corona, so yeah, I'll definitely we'll pair up on that one for sure. But the more hits these guys get, the better, right?
Yeah, and I would also say that even getting letters to them to show that there's a coalition that really needs them to do this is really critical. I actually have relationships with both Jessica Ramos and Cordell, so I'll personally reach out to them.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. And if you did have a letter that you wanted to draft and you wanted to share with everybody, we could definitely share it with other senators. That would be very helpful.
I don't have one. I think it would be great for us to co-author it, so that way we can capture all the language. I'm just getting into this because Yemen Cafe, which is one of our members, alerted us to this. So we are happy to pick up where you guys are already at. And support and supplement.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I think a lot of us are just coming on. Actually, okay.
So Adam from Black Iris, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have been privileged. Am I on?
Yep.
We're privileged to actually be in the previous program. And we really actually, when we send a message to the politicians, we actually, it needs to be somehow a little bit deeper. Okay, well, it's a great program. We're getting benefit out of it. But we should really send them the image of the people standing in the middle of the winter waiting for food. It's not really just, you don't just wait for the food in the middle of the winter until you really need it. So it's not, those people, they were looking forward to it. It was just, and those organizations could actually help us, provide us with the certain images of the people standing in the middle of the winter. I guess that could help our cause as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's to sort of Kathleen's point as well, is like, cast the net a bit wider and use the power of the food banks and EFBs too.
Yeah, it's not just us. It's actually we're really feeding people. People that are actually standing in the middle of the winter. It's cold outside and they're really standing to get their hot meal. It is something. It's powerful, I think.
Completely agree. Thank you. Hands up. Sorry, who's has one more person got the hand up? Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm more radical than what you guys are saying. Everything that you're saying is perfect because right now we're doing in-house calling and in-house letter writing to the legislator. I'm more radical. I'm on that. We need to get Channel 11 and all these people to come and interview us outside the way we did it in the beginning with Cuomo, the FEED Act. We were out there. We need the people who were eating to go out and do whatever they need to do. We need to tell the masses, and the masses has to be through social media. We need Greg Marker. We need, Channel 5, 4, whatever. We need them to come to our restaurants and interview us in regards to this before the 31st comes. It's fine that we're gonna write letters. It is fine, but guess what? I've worked in these offices before and all they do is take the letter and they'll put it over here for those people who don't want to. We have a champion, we do, but we need the people also, not just us writing letters and calling. We need people writing letters and petitions. If I got a physical petition, I'll have it here in my store. I'll have people sign it. We need that. We need noise. Right now, this is internal noise. This is internal.
There's a petition in the link in the chat, and I urge everyone, I can't say it enough, sign the petition, your wife, your dog, your neighbor, your mailman, your grandmother, even if she's not around anymore. I'm kidding, but please, everyone should sign.
Would you mind dropping that back in the link, back in the chat? And look at that, we're coming right to the hour. I think this has been a huge success, powered by the people. So many of you have given up your time, and I know you're all busy, but this is what we're going to have to do now. And this is the first of a series, and we'll regroup, say, join the RRP chat group so we can keep the lines of communication together, and we'll follow up with the I'll do a save out of the chat, so we have all those questions in there and links and things like that, so you've all got copies of that, and then we'll just follow up with some next steps too. Pablo, Jackie, anything else?
No, I think hands to work. I think this is an easy thing to get. All we need to do is work together.
Yep. I think Rich, you are going to be the point person with all of this, since you you know.
That's fine.
Okay. And then we'll just put our 2 cents in and follow.
Fantastic. Look at that. Great. Will do. If anyone wants to drop now, I think, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I can stay on for a little bit longer for sure. I know there's a couple of hands still raised. So again, Dr. Debbie, do you have something to add there? See, your hand is up.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
just remember March 31st.
No, I don't. But I'm going to drop my email in the WhatsApp group.
Great.
So if you can send me any additional talking points, any documents, that would be great. And then I'm happy to work with you all on drafting a letter. We can have our team work with one of you to draft this letter that we can get everybody to sign on to.
Thank you so much. American Grill.
I could work on the draft also with you, Doctor.
Thank you, everyone.
Rich, motion to adjourn.
Sure. Let's do that. And we'll see you all again
second the
very
motion.
soon. Let's get to work, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you, guys. I just wanted to say that I did drop one of the commercials. It was made from local news. I dropped it in the link.
Oh, great.
That American Grill feeding. So maybe we can continue using that.
I know everyone left already, but if like I said, if we can continue using that, I'd already dropped it in the link. You can see it and it's local news. And if we can continue spreading it, you can see a lot of people getting fed on it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, more
Thank
of
you, sir.
that. And hey, you're on the RRP group chat.
Yes, I am. I just signed up.
All right, great. Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you all. Have a great day. God bless.
Thank you.